Hi, I'm Mocknix. I'm going to show you how to link your model to this tool I made, how to prepare your model beforehand, and how to use the tool so you can start animating by the end of this video. Before going into detail, here's the quick guide for those experienced in Blender. Install the add-on, create the mouse sound shape keys listed on the add-on and name them exactly as they're written, make them in any order you'd like, check the shape key value chart in the description if you want to see the order in which I did them so I could easily use the new shape for mix option to quicken the process. The vowel sounds are ah, e, o, u. The consonants are obvious and closed is just a mouth that's closed. If your base model already has a closed mouth, just add a blank shape key and name it closed. Create separate vertex groups for top teeth, tongue, bottom teeth, and face to make the shape key creation process much easier. On the add-on, press Add Syncnix and click the Layout tab to go back. If you have any pre-existing armatures, shape keys, and/or drivers, duplicate your model now and press H to hide the duplicate. Now, select your model. Before linking your model to the tool, please apply all modifiers except armatures. Now press Link to Syncnix on the add-on. If you didn't already have an armature, shape keys, and/or drivers, you're done. If you did have any of those things before linking your model, then let's get that data transferred. Select the model you just linked, shift and select your armature, Control P, click Armature Deform. Your model is now back under the armature in layers. All pre-existing shape keys have transferred, and if you had drivers, copy them from your hidden duplicate to your linked model one by one and then delete the duplicate when you're done. Thanks for the support and enjoy. So now I'm going to go into meticulous detail because I hate to follow a tutorial step by step only to realize I'm doing something wrong because a step that was obvious to the creator but not me didn't get explained. So apologies if I over-explain things. I'll try to mark the times of all the steps in the description to make it easier to skip through. Let's begin. Starting with the basics. To install the add-on, go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, Install. Find the folder where you downloaded the Syncnix zip file, select it, click Install. It will pop up, click the check mark, and that's it. Okay, so, as you can see here on the add-on, step 1 is creating and naming these 14 shape keys. This is the only preparation you need before using Syncnix. When filming, I forgot to use the latest version of the add-on, so the closed shape key wasn't on the list. These are called phonemes. They're basically the sounds we make in the English language. There are more than 14, but with the way this tool's designed, we only need 14 to mimic all of them. I'm going to create a model here so you can see the whole process. My focus was on topology from the start, so I began by extruding planes in the shape of my reference images that I made in Illustrator. Though it seems quick, I don't really suggest modeling this way. Retopology will always give you better results. So the basic needs are top teeth, bottom teeth, tongue, and face for the tool to work best, and I suggest we make vertex groups for each one of those. To do this, all you need to do is in Edit mode, select the geometry of what you want in the group, click Add, click Assign, and then name it. Although these are all in the same object, make sure their geometry isn't connected with one another. I suggest using the mirror modifier because it makes modeling easier and it helps a ton to be able to use the symmetry option when making the shape keys. After I get all these modeled separately, I apply my modifiers and make sure everything looks good. Once I have this model ready to animate, I begin creating the shape keys. If you already have some shape keys for other things, that's fine. Just add these 14 onto your list. As for this model, it doesn't have any shape keys yet, so I need to make sure it's selected in object mode, and I'll go over here to the shape key menu and press this plus button, and you'll see the basis shape key get added. This is pretty much your model in the default expressionless position, so we don't touch this shape key. Now press the plus button one more time, and double click it, and name it ah_1. This is the first sound that you'll model. 2 tips for doing this in edit mode. First, the proportional editing option. With proportional editing activated, when you select a face, line, or vertex, the surrounding area can move with your selection. Scroll your mouse wheel to increase or decrease the affected space and switch the options to change how the surrounding area is affected, like how smooth or sharp the selection will move. As for the second tip, this is the connected option inside proportional editing. When active, the area affected will be connected geometry only. For example, when active, I can move this part of the bottom lip without moving the top lip because of the amount of geometry in between the bottom lip and top lip. When inactive, proportional editing will just affect whatever geometry is near, like the tongue or teeth. Now with this new shape key selected, tab into Edit or Sculpt mode and model the face like it's saying ah. I personally model in Edit mode as you'll see here, but if you're more into sculpting, then you probably already know what you're doing. Once in edit mode, before doing anything, I always turn the symmetry option on. This will make any adjustments you make on one side match the other side. The vertex groups we created play an important part here, and after modeling the mouth open, I'll select none, and then go to those groups, highlight bottom teeth, click select, I'll move the teeth down, I'll do the same thing with the tongue, and as for the top teeth, I rarely move them seeing as how they don't move in real life. If when you move these groups the rest of the model moves, it's because of that proportional editing option I just explained. Either turn it off or turn on the connected option inside of it. I had to move the teeth and tongue forward a little bit because I noticed once the mouth was open, they were a little too far back. Once you tab out of edit mode, you'll notice the shape you just created is gone and the model's back to its basis state. If you go over here to shape keys and drag this slider, you'll see your new shape appear. Drag that back down to 0 and we'll move on. But first, 2 more tips. When editing and modeling shape keys, it's extremely important to make sure that you have the correct shape key selected. If for some reason you accidentally have the basis shape key selected and you make changes to it, your base model is now changed and every shape key in the list has now been affected by the changes you just made. Tip number 2, shape keys only work with the basis geometry. Whatever geometry exists when you began the shape keys is the only geometry that is affected. You can't create multiple shape keys, cut, subdivide, add, or delete the relevant geometry and expect them to work the same. If by chance you do this, look up how to use propagate to shapes in the vertex drop-down menu. This probably doesn't apply to anything you're doing right now, but it's good to know for future reference. So now that we've got sort of an open mouth shape, some of these shape keys can be easier to create if we duplicate what we just created. So what I do is drag the ah shape key we just created to 1 or lower, whatever amount looks closest to an ah sound, hit this arrow and select new shape from mix. Now you'll see a new shape key's been added. The shape that remains on the face is not this new shape key, it is still the ah shape sitting at 1. With ah selected, drag its value back down to 0, select your new key, name it ah_1, and press tab to start modeling. Make it look like ah. I notice ah is a lot like ah, but with the cheeks pushed back. If you leave edit mode but you still want to see the key, go to the current key you're working on and increase the value to 1. Just remember to put the value back down to 0 before modeling the next key. On to E. With this key, I begin by turning ah's value up to 1, create a new shape from mix, name the new key EE_1, lower the ah value back down to 0, select the new key, and tab into edit mode. Use the groups to move the bottom teeth and tongue back up. Just a reminder, if the face is moving when you do this, proportional editing is on. Either turn it off or enable the connected option inside of it. After moving those, move the chin up. We're done. So now you've got 3 shapes, and every model will have different results, but for mine, I'm going to slide ah to about 0.3 and E about halfway up. These 2 mixed will give a good start for the I sound. Click the arrow, new shape from mix, slide those back down to 0 and name the new key IH_1. Adjust the model as needed. For O, I began with the first key we made. I set ah to 1, new shape from mix, lowered it back down to 0, named the new key OH_1, tabbed into edit mode and rounded the lips. O! For oo, I cranked O up to 0.7, hit new shape from mix, moved O back down to 0, named the new key. Real quick, I just want to point out that I misspelled oo here. I caught it after I stopped this video, but if I hadn't, when I linked my model to the tool, the oo shape wouldn't have worked. So name it OO_1. So in edit mode, I made the O mouth shape smaller and I pinched the corners of the mouth, and that gives a good OO, W, Q look. And now we're on to the consonants. Here I made sure all of the shape keys were set at 0, and I set E to about 0.75, hit new shape from mix. I tabbed into edit mode, I edited the cheeks a little bit to have a little less of a change from basis. Tabbed back out to object mode, named the new key Z_S_T_D_N, and that gives you your Z, S, T, D, N sound. For this next shape, I set all shape keys to 0 and ZSTDN to 0.9, created new shape from mix, set ZSTDN back down to 0, named the new key G_J_CK_CH, tab into edit mode, push the lips out a little bit, tab back out, and it's finished. R. Okay, for R, I set all to 0 except for ah, which I put at 0.5, new shape from mix, set ah back down to 0, named the new shape R_1, tab into edit mode, move chin and bottom teeth down, and then adjust teeth distance to look like R sound. Tab back out, and that's it. BPM. Okay, this is basically your basis shape with the lips sort of pushed in to make it look like an sound. So make sure all of the shape keys are set at 0, and then hit the plus sign, name it B_P_M, and then tab into edit mode, adjust the lips, tab back out, and it's finished. Alright, TH. Make sure all the shapes are at 0, hit the plus, name it TH, not TH_1 like I did here. I noticed this mistake later when I linked my model to the tool, but I left it in the tutorial so I can show how to fix it here in a few minutes. After naming your shape, tab into edit mode, push the top lip up, move the chin and bottom teeth down a little, put the tongue up to the top teeth, and you're done. For this next shape, I set my R shape key to 1 because it seemed like the right amount of space between the teeth, and after creating the new shape from mix, all I needed to do was tab into edit mode and move the bottom lip up, tab back out, name the new key F_V, and that's it. La 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 la. Okay, we're at L. I started with our first shape key, A, moved the value to about 0.6, created a new shape for mix, name it L_1, move A back down to 0, edited the new key by just moving the tip of the tongue up behind the top teeth. Tip of the tongue up behind the top teeth. Tip of the tongue up behind the top teeth. Tip of the tongue up behind the top teeth. Alright, number 14, the last shape key. If your base model already has a closed mouth, just hit the plus button and name the new key closed. Mine was slightly open, so I just hit the plus key, tabbed into edit mode, closed the mouth, and then tabbed back out and named it closed. If you had an armature, other shape keys, and or drivers before starting, I'll get to that in just a minute. But for now, just duplicate your model and hide the duplicate. So let's go ahead and click Add Syncnix. This will take you to the Syncnix workspace with the default mouth template. Just click the Layout tab at the top to go back. Select your model and press Link to Syncnix in the add-on. This might take a few moments. Now I'll check to make sure all of the shape keys linked. As I scroll through the shape keys, I noticed that I named my TH incorrectly and it didn't connect with the tool. You can tell because it's not purple. So I will undo the link by pressing Ctrl-Z. I'll name it correctly, just TH, not TH_1. And then I'll go back to the add-on, click Link to Syncnix, wait a few moments, and done. As you can see, it is now linked. Now I'll go to the tool, move it around, make sure it all works. I did rush through this model, so I figured there might be some issues. I notice here that the space between FV and R, the teeth clip through the lip a little bit. I can see which shape keys are being used by going back to the layout, looking in my shape key list, and looking at the numbers. I could either adjust the R or the FV shape key in edit mode to make this not happen. I will edit my FV key. I will adjust the lips and teeth a little bit so the clipping doesn't occur, and done. Now all the shapes look just fine. So my model's massive, I'm going to resize it and apply the scale with Ctrl-A, and then I'd like to move the tool next to it. Your model might not be massive, you might not have to do that, but you might want to move the tool around. Only the purple objects can be selected, which are the switches and the move tool. So select the move tool and move it wherever you like. In the Syncnix workspace, the views follow the tool, so you don't need to adjust those. With your model selected, press M to move to whatever collection you'd like, rename your model back to what it was or something new, and if you need more tools for more characters in the scene, you need to rename this Syncnix collection. Every time you add a new tool, it will be named Syncnix, rename those, and then you can add more. The rest of this video will cover transferring pre-existing shape keys, drivers, and armatures to your newly linked model. If you didn't have any of those, you're finished. Be sure to watch the next video on how to use the tool. Link is in the description. Thanks, and enjoy. So if you did have shape keys, drivers, and or an armature attached to your model before starting this whole process, no worries. For my model here, I connected an armature, and in that armature, a bone, and on that bone, a driver that controls a shape key. So now I've got all three, and I can show you how these transfer over. With your model selected, Shift, select your armature, Ctrl-P, and click Armature Deform. Bam! Your armature and all its weights are back. As for the shape keys, they've already transferred over, but if they had drivers attached, this is where your model's copy comes in. To move the drivers over, click on the copy, go to where the driver is. For example, if the driver I had is on this shape key, right-click, copy driver, go to your newly linked model, find where that driver needs to be, right-click, paste driver. Do this for all of your drivers and that's it. Once finished, delete your hidden duplicate model. Next up, how to use Syncnix video. Thank you all and see you there.